let me take a moment here to just say a word about cash flow versus profitability. I remember the owner of a multimillion-dollar law firm who had positive cash flow. Yay! Unfortunately, the law firm was slowly going out of business because it was losing about $100,000 each month, and the owner didn't even know it.
You're listening to the Profit First for Lawyers podcast, the official companion show to the book Profit First for Lawyers by RJon Robins. Now, this podcast is for you if you want to bring home more profit while working fewer hours in the office, spending even more time with your loved ones, and turning your office into a lean, mean, profit-breathing machine. So if you're tired of working for your law firm instead of your law firm working for you, stay tuned for some really practical insights that will get you the results you've always wanted. It's time to put your BS aside for the next few minutes and put yourself, your family, your firm, and your profit first. Welcome back to the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. I'm your host, Karli. And in this episode, we're pulling directly from the audiobook where RJon personally narrated Profit First for Lawyers. More information on that audiobook coming soon, I promise. Now, this was my first time working in the studio with RJon, remember? And at the time, I'd only been with the company for a handful of months, so I was a little bit nervous. Okay, I was a lot nervous. But eventually, RJon asked for me to have a mic too so that I could ask him questions live in the moment right there in the booth. Today, you're going to learn the crucial difference between cash flow and actual profit, and why mistaking one of those for the other could quietly destroy your law firm. You'll also hear one of the real stories of a law firm owner who made this mistake and the consequences that followed. Now, this first clip is straight from the book. The second is where things get a little off script. Let's roll the first clip.
Number 4, cash on hand. How much cash do we have in our operating account? How much cash do we have sitting in the IOLTA? How much cash do we have stashed away in our various sinking funds, including and especially in our Profit First accounts, plural? Gross revenue tends to be the very first thing that most entrepreneurs have an emotional need to know about, myself included. It's almost like we can't even stop to think about anything else until we know what the firm has grossed in the last month or quarter or year to date. And then your mind probably shifts to, oh no, but what about tomorrow? So our small law firm bookkeepers who do not suck, they talk about cash flow projections each month with the law firm owners whose law firms we serve. And then we know from experience that the third thing you're going to want to know is how much cash your law firm has on hand. Because with enough cash, we can solve or at least survive long enough to find a solution to almost any law firm management challenge.
So if you've ever opened your bank account and felt kind of a brief wave of calm seeing some cash there, and then immediately spiraled into stress mode about payroll or taxes or rent or whatever else, you're in good company. Now, cash on hand is not just important. That is survival. And if you've got a great bookkeeper that does not suck, they are going to help you project that cash flow forward so that you're not just guessing. But here's where a lot of law firm owners get it wrong, because they confuse cash flow with profit. And that mistake can cost you big time. Let's go ahead and jump into the second clip. Now, this was part narration and part off-the-cuff conversation. You're going to hear me asking RJon some questions, and you're going to hear RJon doing what RJon does best, right? He's going to tell the truth. It's going to hurt a little bit. But first, before we get into it, a quick word from our sponsor, which is really just us, providing a very valuable resource to help make your law firm more profitable. We've created a great resource just for you to help you make your law firm more profitable right now. It's called the Profit Leak Assessment. I teamed up with Evelyn Acoyne, who is how to manage a small law firm's financial literacy and strategy expert, to put together a practical and extremely profitable, on-demand, completely free course that's going to help you find thousands of dollars in your proverbial couch cushions. Well, if you're anything like the other law firm owners we've helped anyway. And I promise, no complicated math involved. This is just our way of saying thank you. So sign up now by going to profitfirstforlawyers.com/profit leak or clicking the link in our show notes. Okay, now let's head back into the studio. Roll the clip.
Let me take a moment here to just say a word about cash flow versus profitability. I remember the owner of a multimillion-dollar law firm who had positive cash flow. Yay! Unfortunately, the law firm was slowly going out of business because it was losing about $100,000 each month, and the owner didn't even know it. Remember, cash flow is a measure of how much cash comes in and how much cash goes out. The 7-figure law firm owner who was in my office kept insisting, my law firm is profitable because all my bills are getting paid, and after all, I'm getting my salary too. But what was really happening was that the law firm's administrator and bookkeeper had the firm incurring liabilities all over the place in order to maintain positive cash flow. Remember, cash flow is just cash coming into the firm, as in from debt. The firm was bringing in cash from its line of credit. It was collecting flat fees from clients and incurring liabilities to deliver the work later. Just take a moment to understand this. Cash is coming in, cash is coming in, cash is coming in. Some of the cash is coming in from clients who are prepaying a flat fee for work that the firm won't have to incur any cost to deliver for weeks or months later on down the road. And some of the cash in this particular case was also coming in from debt, drawing down the line of credit. So yeah, there was plenty of cash coming in, and no, there wasn't a lot of cash coming out because the work kept getting postponed and postponed and postponed, and so the firm never incurred the cost to deliver the work. Now, if you look at the balance sheet, you would have seen the picture coming together very, very clearly, and it was very, very ugly, but this lawyer wasn't looking at his balance sheet. He was just looking himself in the mirror and congratulating himself for being the owner of this multi-million-dollar law firm. And of course it must be profitable because after all the bills are getting paid and I'm getting paid. But he didn't understand that the firm was literally being gutted by the administrator and the bookkeeper. So the firm was reducing cash disbursements and simply booking liabilities to staff for earned bonuses and other inevitable expenses that would come due.
Can I ask a question real quick? How did this guy not know? Like, how did they not?
I thought you were going to ask a different question.
Oh, what question did you think I was going to ask?
I thought you were going to ask, did he fire us when we made him see the truth?
Well, my question was going to be, did he fire them when you showed him the truth?
No, of course he didn't fire them when we showed him the truth. He fired us when we showed him the truth.
Is he in business today?
He's keeping it afloat. He's keeping the plates in the air. Last I heard. You don't even want to know why he fired us instead of his administrator and his horrible bookkeeper?
I mean, I definitely would like to know.
Then why didn't you ask?
Let me ask that question instead of assuming that I know the answer to that.
What do you assume to be the answer?
I assume that the answer was that he was so scared by the information you were telling him that he would rather stay in the delusion that everything was fine rather than actually looking at the reports that you were telling him to look at to verify the information you were telling him.
That, and we saw him with his clothes off. Figuratively, not literally.
The emperor had no clothes.
The emperor had no clothes. And he liked to be seen by everyone as a hotshot. And we certainly were not going to tell anyone that he wasn't a hotshot, and no one has any idea who I'm talking about. And I promise you, anyone who guesses who they think I'm talking about based on this conversation, they're guessing wrong, because I literally have like a dozen examples exactly like this of different people who have fired me over the years for almost exactly the same fact pattern.
All right, how was that? Now, when I tell you that I had no idea what I was getting into when I picked up that mic in the studio, I mean it. But I'm really glad that I did, because this story and others that I've heard just like it, this is exactly why Profit First for Lawyers exists in the first place. It is so easy to fool ourselves when we see cash coming in. It is easy to pat ourselves on the back when the bills are paid and the lights are on and we're taking a salary. But what you just heard is a masterclass in what not to do. And sadly, this was a real story. And even more sadly, RJon told me that he's got plenty more just like it. Now, these are people that RJon worked with. These are mistakes that cost people everything. These are scenarios that we see more often than we want to. And in this case, it was all because the owner of the firm didn't want to see what the numbers were telling him. So, how do you apply this to your law firm? Well, here's what you can do. Now, first, don't confuse cash flow with profitability. If you're not reading your balance sheet, you are not seeing the whole picture. Get help if you don't know how to read it, but please don't pretend it doesn't matter. Second, find out where your cash is actually coming from. Is it new sales? Is it borrowed money? Is it prepaid work that just hasn't been fulfilled yet? Just because cash is coming in does not mean that you're making a profit. And third, if your bookkeeper or your administrator is handling the money and you have not personally verified the systems in place, it's time for a serious reality check. You are the owner. And that means you have to own your firm's financial reality, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about building your ego. This is about building a business that supports your life. And that's what we've got for you today, folks. I hope this was really helpful for you. And remember, cash flow is not profit. Confidence is not competence. And you deserve a law firm that actually works for you. So take the steps. Run the reports, ask the hard questions, and maybe don't fire the person who tells you the truth. You can have profits or you can have excuses, but you got to pick one. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, tell a friend and buy your copy of the book at profitfirstforlawyers.com. Your future self will thank you for it, and we will see you next time.